everyone. Yeah, so again, good afternoon, good evening. It's another Friday once again. In the Philippines, it's actually raining, especially in my place, in Cotabato City. It's raining. Not a very hard rain, but it's actually a shower of just a shower of rain. Okay. So we will continue with our lesson last time. We will continue with the subject verb agreement.
Hello, Miss.
Yes, Lodi. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Miss. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Miss Samira.
Yes, good afternoon, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. So we will continue with our lesson. Last time, I still remember Mark was quite confused regarding some rules. Right, Mark? You were confused about this specific rule about subject-verb agreement. I told you that we are going to continue with that one. So this one. If I still remember it correctly, I think this is it, right, Mark? This it's rule 7 or rule 8? What was the rule that you got confused with? Rule 8? Rule 9. Rule 9, right? It's rule 9. So it is actually all about the words that indicate portion. Portions, for example, percent, fraction, part, majority, sum, all, none, remainder, and so forth. So if you look at it, okay, if you look at it, what we are going to look for when we encounter words that indicate portions is that we are going to look for the object of the preposition of. We are going to look for the object of the preposition of. Those are the subject or the object after the preposition of. Okay? Look at the example. 50% of the pie has disappeared. Okay? 50% of the pie has disappeared. Take note. Preposition of. Look at this. This is the preposition of. I will purple. Preposition of. After the preposition of, you can see an object, which is pie. What is pie? Is it singular or plural? What is pie? Is it singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular. Very good. So if you look at pie, we all agreed that pie is actually singular. Therefore, what we are going to use as a verb is that we are also going to use a singular verb. We are also going to use a singular verb. And if you look at it, the verb to be has is actually a singular verb. It is actually a singular verb. Unless otherwise, it is has. It is actually a plural subject or plural object. Has, then we are going to use a plural verb and that will be have. Have. Okay? Okay, next, look at this. 50% of the pie, take note again of the preposition of, and then look at the object of the preposition of. Pies. Pies is singular or plural?
Plural.
Plural. Very good. Plural. That is why if you look at it, we use plural verb. Have. Have. Okay? We use plural verb, which is the be verb have. Okay, next. 1/3 of the city is unemployed. Of. Look at the preposition of. After the preposition of, you can see the object. Right? You can see the object. City. What is city? Is it singular or plural? City. Is it singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular. Very good, Catherine. Singular. That is why we use a singular verb. And what singular verb did we use? What singular verb did we use? Is. Very good. Very good, Catherine. So we use is. Okay? And then, according to this note, hyphenate all spelled out fractions. Hyphen. When you say hyphen, it is as if like a minus sign. A minus sign. This one. This one. That is your hyphen. 1/3. 1/3 is actually a spelled out fraction. So if you encountered a spelled out fraction, place a hyphen in between the two words. In between the two words. Okay? 1/3. Okay? So if you encounter a spelled out fraction, you are going to place a hyphen in between the two spelled out fractions. Okay? Next. Look at
I want
this.
to tell you something.
Okay, what is it, Mark?
The HypeNet, is HypeNet a math formula?
Hyphen, no, it's not a math formula, but it looks like a minus sign. The symbol actually looks like a minus sign.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, look at this. Look at the different examples. Look at the different examples. I am going to read, okay? All of the pie is gone. Okay, look at the examples. All of the pie is all of the pies are gone. All of the pies are gone. Some of the pie is missing. Some of the pie is missing. Some of the pies are missing. None of the garbage was picked up. None of the garbage was picked up. None of the sentences were punctuated correctly. None of the sentences were punctuated correctly. Of all her books, none have sold as well as the first one. Okay, I am going to highlight the preposition of color red. Okay, I'm going to make it as color red. Look at this, so that you will be able to notice. Okay, look at this. These are all the prepositions of, of. Okay, look at this. And then after which, I am going to highlight an object of preposition of. Object of preposition of. It's this one. I am going to color it as green. Okay, green. Okay, that one. This is actually, these are all green. The object will be color green. All right, look at that. So you need to focus. Need to focus on what I am trying to do, okay? Okay, look at this. If you look at all the colored green words, which are actually the object of preposition of, you should be able to identify whether it is a singular subject singular subject slash object or plural subject slash object. Look at this. Pie. Singular, plural. Pie. Pie. Is it singular or plural? Anyone? Pie.
Singular.
Singular. Good. Pie.
Plural.
Plural.
Is plural.
Very good. Garbage.
Singular.
Singular. Sentence.
Plural.
Plural.
Soup. I am going to highlight the verb as what color? I think I'm going to color it
Yellow.
blue, right? We will color it blue. Okay, that one. This colored blue word is your verb. This colored blue word is your verb, or these are all your verbs. Okay, look at this. So that you will see and you will be able to easily identify and know where to look at. Okay? What are you going to look for? Okay? Okay, look at that. So everything which is in colored green are all your object of preposition of. Everything or every word which is colored blue are your verb. And then every colored red, every word which is colored red are actually the preposition of. Okay. Pie will actually, the object of preposition of, it will be the one with which the verb will actually refer to, okay? This is where the verb will, this is where we are going to identify what verb are we going to use. So since pie is actually singular, therefore we are also going to use a singular verb. That is why we use singular verb is. Pie is actually a plural subject. That is why we also use plural verb are. Another pie is actually a singular subject. That is why we use singular verb. Pie, plural subject. That is why we use plural verb are. Garbage told us earlier, you told the class earlier that garbage is actually a singular subject. That is why if you look at it, what is actually a singular verb? Where is actually a plural verb, where was actually referring to the plural subject, which is the sentences. And then book, we all know that book is actually a plural subject. That is why we are going to use the plural verb have. Understand? So when you encounter words which actually talks about in portions, we need to look for the object of preposition of. And then that will be the basis of what verb are we going to use. Okay? What verb are we going to use? Question. Do you have some question? Question. Oh, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Yes, very good. Okay, so if almost all of you understand, we will continue. The rule.
Wait.
Wait, what?
Neither of them speak either of them. Rule number 10, I understand for rule 10.
We were not able to discuss it yet. We're going to discuss it today. Okay? And then if you have questions, just simply call my name. Okay, rule 10. When either and neither are subject, okay, wait. So I will have to highlight this one. When either and neither are subject, one. They always take singular verb. Again, when either and neither are subject, they always take singular verb. Okay, example. Neither of them is available to speak right now. Neither of them is available to speak right now. Is actually a singular verb. Because according to rule 10, neither when being a subject will become singular verb. Either or neither when being taken as subject, then what we are going to use as verbs will be a singular verb. Okay? We are going to use a singular verb. Either of us is capable of doing the job. Either of us is capable of doing the job. So I must remember when using either or neither as subject, I will always use a singular verb. Okay, I will always use a singular verb. Okay, rule 11. The words here and there have generally been labeled as adverbs. Here and there has generally been labeled as adverbs. Okay, look at this. They have been labeled as adverbs. Even though they indicate place. Because if you're talking about here or there, you're talking about a certain place. You're talking about, for example, where did you put your book? There. So you are talking about a place. Where is your ball pen? Here. Something like that. So you are actually talking about place. So in sentences beginning with here or there, the subject follows the verb. In sentences beginning with here or there, the subject follows the verb. Okay. So I will continue, okay? Example. There are 4 hurdles to jump. There are 4 hurdles to jump. And then another one. There is a high hurdle to jump. Okay, so there is actually our subject, right? And then if you look at this, we are actually going to, okay, they're actually going to follow the verb. We're actually going to follow the verb. So look at this. When I look at the example, there are 4 hurdles to jump. There being the subject, I look at another object, which is the hurdles. That is why I use plural verb. I use plural verb. Wherein in the other example, there is a high hurdle to jump. There is a high hurdle to jump. Hurdle. Hurdle is singular object. This is an object wherein it is singular. Therefore, I am going to use singular verb. Singular verb. So if I encountered a sentences beginning with the subject as here and there, then the verb will actually follow depending on the object. Depending on the object. Okay? So it depends on the object. So the object hurdles, although the hurdles is actually plural, that is why we use plural verb. Hurdle without S is singular, that is why we use singular verb. Understand? You have some questions? No more? No more questions yet? Okay, we will continue. Rule 12. Use a singular verb with sums of money or periods of time. Use a singular verb with sums of money or periods of time. If you are talking about money, we are actually trying to analyze how many money do you have in your pocket, or you are actually talking about a certain period of time. And we are going to use a singular verb. We are going to use a singular verb. Example. $10. $10 is actually, it actually is about money. The amount of money, right? In dollars. $10 is a high price to pay. $10, we're talking about money. Therefore, we use singular verb. The verb is $10 is a high price to pay. About periods of time. 5 years is the maximum sentence for that offense. 5 years is the maximum sentence for that offense. Okay? So look at this. If we talk about sums of money or periods of time, we are going to use singular verb. So all the rules, we just need to be familiar with all the rules. Then if we do that, we can easily use correctly the subject and verb agreement. Okay, be familiar with the rules. So if you're actually trying to copy or screenshot the slides, you can do so that you will be able to be familiar with the different rules regarding subject and verb agreement. Okay? Questions? You have some questions?
No.
Wait, what? The money.
Yes, money.
$10 is a high price to pay. Singular verb is the singular verb was pay, right?
No. It's $100,000.
Okay, what did you? I was not able to hear you right, Mark. What did you say?
The sum for the money with the singular verb. The singular verb was
Yes.
is or pay.
No, the singular verb that we use here is. The be verb, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Also the same as the 5 years, right?
Are all. Yes. Okay, so we will continue. Rule 13. Rule 13. Sometimes the pronoun, okay, sometimes the pronoun who, okay, I will have to capitalize this one so that you can easily see it. Who, that, okay, that, or which. So these are all pronouns, by the way. Is the subject of a verb in the middle of the sentence. Again, sometimes the pronoun who, that, or which is the subject of a verb in the middle of the sentence. The pronouns who, that, and which become singular or plural according to the noun directly in front of them. Then, the pronouns who, that, and which become singular or plural according to the noun directly in front of them. So if that noun is singular, from the basic rule, use a singular verb. If it is plural, use a plural verb. Example. Okay, example. Salma is the scientist who writes the report. Salma is the scientist who writes the report. Okay, look at this. Salma is our subject, right? What is Salma? Is Salma singular or plural? What is Salma? Singular or plural? Anyone? Singular. Very good. Okay, Salma is the scientist who writes the report. So what correct verb are we going to use since Salma is actually a singular subject? Is it right or right? Is it right or right? Without S.
Who, right.
Without S.
Right.
So what
Right.
is it?
Right.
What?
Right.
Again. What?
Who write? Who write the reports?
Oh, look at this. What is the correct verb? Yes, right, without S.
Right.
Huh?
Right. Because
With-
Salma has only one person.
With S, without S.
With S.
With
Like
S. Very good. So last time, from the very start of a subject-verb agreement, we all know that, we all know that when we talk about the singular verb, we are going to add S and S or ES, right? So since we're talking about a singular subject, we are going to make or to agree it with a singular verb also. That is why we use a singular verb which is right. Right. So this is the correct verb. The dog is actually barking. Can you get it? Look at Salma, which is actually Salma is actually in front of the pronoun who. We are referring about Salma. And Salma is actually a singular subject. That is why, from the basic rule, we are also going to use singular verb. Verb with which we add with S or ES. Right? Okay. Next. Example. Another example, okay? He is one of the men who does the work. He is one of the men
Does.
He is
who
one of the men who does the work
does the work. Very good.
because there's only one person. Yeah. Oh,
Great.
okay.
Look at this. Man. Man is what? Singular, plural. Man is singular, plural.
Singular.
What is
Plural.
man? Plural. Ah? What is man?
Plural.
Plural. So we actually refer to the adjective wherein man is actually in front of the pronoun who. Right? Man is in front of the pronoun who. That is why we are referring to the man and not with he.
Maria mundur.
Yeah. So we use, okay, plural you. This might be confusing, right? That is why be familiar with the different rules. Be familiar with the different rules. Okay? Rule 14. Collective nouns such as him and stuff may be either singular or plural depending on their use in the sentence. Again, collective nouns such as may be either singular or plural depending on their use in the sentence. Okay, example. The staff is in a meeting. The staff is in a meeting. So if you look at this, staff is acting as a unit. Staff is acting as a unit. So staff here is actually being one. They are actually being one. And then another example, the staff are in the disagreement about the findings. The staff are in disagreement about the findings. So if you look at the staff in a meeting, so there is one unit of staff in a meeting, and then based on the meeting, the members of the said staff, okay, the members within that, okay, they are actually in the disagreement about the process or about the flow of the meeting. So they are actually considered as individual or separate individual. The staff are acting as separate individuals in this example. Or it would be way better if the sentence would read as the staff members are in disagreement about the findings. Because if you added members here, you will easily identify that we are talking about specific or separate individuals within the members of the staff. Okay, look at this. So the staff are acting as separate individuals in this example. Is actually, I mean, the staff are in disagreement about the findings can be quite confusing, right? Can be quite confusing. We need to analyze. But if we add something with which we might easily identify that we are talking about a specific or a separate individual, then we are going to add the word members to easily identify. Okay? To easily identify the different members within the staff or the different individual members within the staff. Okay? So it would be way better if we are going to add something that would identify easily the individuality. Okay? Or as a group or as a unit or as an individual within the sentence. Question. You have some questions? No more questions? Can I proceed? Okay, so I am going to proceed. Okay. So, subject and verb agreement is up to Rule 14. Rule 14. Okay, look at this. Subject and verb agreement have a total of 15 rules, including the basic rule, right? Including the basic rule. So it has 15 rules all in all. One basic rule and 1 to 14 rules. Rule 1 to rule 14. Okay? You have some questions before we proceed with pronouns? No more questions? So you will ask questions along the way, right?
No.
Okay, so we will continue with pronouns. We will continue with pronouns. Okay, definition. So we're going to read the definition of pronoun. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. For example, Alfonso. Alfonso is a noun, a proper noun. I am going to replace Alfonso with a pronoun. What correct pronoun should I use? What correct pronoun should I use?
He.
He. Very good. Girl. Girl is actually a common noun. It is a noun. What correct pronoun? If I am going to replace it with pronoun, should I
She.
use? Yeah, very good. So you actually remember our previous lessons, right? Okay. Pronouns can be in one of three cases. Pronouns can be in one of
I did the job. Can it be like an I or she?
yes, I is actually also a pronoun, right? It is
A professional noun.
yes, it is a first person. Okay. Pronouns can be in one of three cases: subject, object, or possessive. Subject, object, or possessive. Rule 1. Here comes the rules again. Here comes the rules again. So we will start with rule 1. Subject pronouns are used when the pronoun is the subject of the sentence. Subject pronouns are used when the pronoun is the subject of the sentence. You can remember subject pronouns easily by filling in the blank subject space for a simple sentence. Subject pronouns are used when the pronoun is the subject of the sentence. You can remember subject pronouns easily by filling in the blank subject space for a simple sentence. For a simple sentence. Okay, example. Blank did the job. Blank did the job. What possible pronoun can we write here? What possible pronoun can we write here? Anyone? Blank did the job. Who can try to make a pronoun? A possible pronoun with which it can make the sentence a correct sentence. Anyone? Anyone would like to try? I did the job. I, according to Mark earlier, is also a pronoun. Specifically, it is actually a, what do you call this one? First person, right? It is actually a first person. Okay, very good, Catherine. I. You can also use you. She, it, we. This can all fit into the subject pronoun. I did the job. He did the job. She did the job. It did the job. We did the job. And they did the job. They all fit into the blank. Therefore, these are all subject pronouns. Right? These are all subject pronouns. Rule 2. Subject pronouns are also used if they rename the subject. Subject pronouns are also used if they rename the subject. They will follow to be verbs such as is, are, was, were, and will be. They will follow to be verbs such as is, are, was, were, and will be. Example. It is he. It is he. He is actually what? This is she speaking. He is actually our pronoun. Maybe it is Mark, but instead I replace Mark with he. That is why I made it is he. This is she. He is actually a pronoun. Maybe we can make it as this is Catherine speaking. I will replace Catherine with the pronoun she. So that is why I made this is she speaking. It is we who are responsible for the decision to downsize. Maybe this is actually a group of teachers. This is actually a group of teachers. Instead of saying the name of the group of teachers, we use the pronoun we. It is we who are responsible for the decision to downsize. Okay, in spoken English, most people tend to follow to be verbs with object pronouns. Many English teachers support or at least have given into this distinction between written and spoken English. For example, it could have been them. But it would be better if we use they. It could have been they. Them is actually an object pronoun. Right? Them can be an object pronoun. It is just me at the door. Better is it is just I at the door. I is actually a subject pronoun. Me is actually an object pronoun. So most of the time, people tend to follow the be verbs with object pronoun. So it would be better instead of using object pronoun, we use subject pronoun. We use subject pronoun. Subject pronoun usually is at the beginning of the sentence. Whereas the object pronoun, they are usually placed at the part of the sentence. Okay? So object pronouns are usually placed at the last part of the sentence, while subject pronouns are usually found at the beginning of the sentence. Question? Do you have some questions? You have some question? No more questions? We will continue. How about Tristan? I was actually looking at Tristan. Do you have some questions, Tristan?
No, Miss.
No? Okay. How about Sandara? Sandara, do you have some questions? I cannot see
Yes,
Honey.
Miss.
I can only see Sandara. Do you have some questions, Sandara? No more questions? Claudie. Claudie is actually very busy writing. Right? Very good, Claudie. So Claudie is actually writing the lesson. So you can, if you actually look at it, Claudie, it is much better if you screenshot before you write. Yes. Okay, Nicholas, I can only see the wall. Hi, Nicholas. Josephine, what happened? You look as if your head is hurting.
The
I'm
head
done
is
with this.
stylish.
Josephine. Looking at all of you. You're still attentive. Very good in that. Aaron, how about Aaron? Aaron is very student, observing. You can ask questions, Aaron, if you find it hard to understand some of the lessons that we are actually trying to discuss here. Okay? Clara, how about Clara? How are you, Clara? How was Clara?
Yes, Miss.
Looking at, yeah, do you have some questions, Clara?
No, Miss.
Okay. I was looking at Reza and Rayhan. If I may, are you and Rayhan siblings? Are you and Rayhan siblings? You are brother and sister? Is Reza and Rayhan siblings? You look alike. I was actually looking at you and I find it, you are actually look identical. You twins? You think you're just siblings, brother and sister. Okay, I can see them both now. So they are actually brother siblings. Said to your
Question.
yeah. Okay. So he's your brother, Reza. Rayhan is your brother.
Yes, Miss.
I was looking at Rayhan and I thought he looks familiar, and then I saw you. That is why I asked. I asked you because I think you are blood related. Same with Noel and Nicolas. They are siblings also. And then Micaela and Rafaela, I cannot see them. And then Farrell. Okay. So, where are we? So, we are already in contact.
I have a question.
Yes, what is your question, Mark?
Look at look at the example. I would say, what's that? I could say it could have been it is just me at the door. But what better means? It better means
Okay. Look at this.
I'm super confused.
That most people tend to follow the verbs with object pronouns. The first example, it could have been them. Them is actually an object pronoun. Take note, an object pronoun usually can be found at the end of the sentence. Okay? Usually can be found at the end of the sentence. So this is them. It is an object pronoun. It would be better, instead of using them, you are going to use they. Instead of using them, you need to use you are going to use they so that it should be better. Right? So instead of saying it could have been them, you are going to say it could have been they.
So they turn to pronouns.
Yes, they are both pronouns. They is actually a subject pronoun. Most of the time, they can be found at the and them is actually an object pronoun. Usually, it is found at the end of the sentence. So, if you look at this, according to the rule, it would be better instead of using an object pronoun, we are going to use a subject pronoun. Okay, it would have been better if we could use a sub pronoun instead of an object pronoun.
Not the last.
You understand? Are you still confused? Are you still confused about
No, I think I understand. But can I still say not the pronouns, but it could have been them. It is just me at the door. I mean, I'm very because I'm very comfortable to say that. Then the better thing I should.
okay. So it's actually okay because that is what most people do. That is what most people what we call this one they are actually accustomed to when using this word, right? Most of the time we use as object pronoun. But according to the rule, it would be better. But you can still use this one. Do not worry. You can still use this one. It is just a suggestion. Okay, it is just a suggestion that it would be better, way better, if we actually use a subject pronoun instead of an object pronoun. Okay? And then here, rule 3. Rule 3. Object pronouns are used everywhere else. Object pronouns are used everywhere else. Direct object, indirect object, object of the preposition. Object pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. Okay? Object pronouns are you, me, him, okay? Her, it, us, the, it, us, them. Wait. I'm almost low, but wait. Okay. So if you look at it, look at the examples. Jean talked to him. Jean talked to him. So when we are talking about a direct object or an indirect object or an object of the preposition, we are going to use object pronouns. We are going to use object pronouns. Jean talked to him. Are you talking to me? Okay. It would not be good to hear if we say, are you talking to I? Right? Or Jean talked to he. Something like that. It's not good. It's not right. It's wrong. So when we talk about someone, whether directly, indirectly, or we are talking about the object of the proposition, we are going to use the object pronoun. Remember the object pronouns? Me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. These are all object pronouns. So this is what makes you comfortable, Mark, right? Earlier, regarding the rule 2, you are comfortable using object pronouns than subject pronouns. So this is how it is. So we are using object pronouns. Continue. To be able to choose, to be able to choose pronouns correctly, you must learn to identify clauses. A clause is a group of words A clause is a group of words containing a verb and subject. A clause is a group of words containing a verb and subject. Clause can also be a sentence, right? A simple sentence. Rule 4A. Strong clause can stand on its own. Compared with subject, compared with sentence, simple sentence, there is this sentence which is actually an independent. You can actually see that it can stand its own. We have that lesson last year. No, they are all able to have the lessons with me last time. So example, she is hungry. So this is one independent sentence, right? It is an independent sentence. We had the subject and the verb. She is hungry. I am feeling well today. So this is a simple sentence. This it is also, it can also be a clause. It can also be called a free clause, wherein it is a group of words containing a verb and a subject, right? So a strong clause can stand on its own. It can stand on its own. And then rule 4B, a weak clause begins with words such as although, since, if, when, and because. Weak clauses cannot stand on their own. They cannot stand on their own because it is dependent on the independent variable of the sentence, right? Where are we? Examples are although she is hungry. So we cannot see whether, we are not sure whether she is, the sentence is actually already finished, right? So it is actually hanging. It is hanging. We are actually trying to wait and listen because we are still thinking that she or he is going to add something from what she is saying, right? So if she is hungry, so what? If she is hungry, then what? So we are still waiting for her to finish. It is not complete. The sentence is actually not complete. That is why it cannot stand on its own. Since I am feeling well. So what? Since you are feeling well, so what do you want to tell us? So something like that. We are still waiting for something that she will be able or he will be able to tell us because the sentence is actually not complete. Okay? And then rule 4C, if a sentence contains more than one clause, isolate the clauses so that you can decide which pronoun is correct. If a sentence contains more than one clause, isolate the clauses so that you can decide which pronoun is correct. Example. So look at the left side. This is the weak clauses, while on the right side that would be your strong clauses. Although she is hungry, then if we added the strong clauses, she will give him some of her food. Another one, although this gift is for him, I would like you to have it too. So, although she is hungry, it is a dependent clause. It cannot stand on its own. Same with although this gift is for him, it is not a complete sentence. We are still waiting for the sentence. Okay? We're still waiting for him to finish what he is trying to say to tell us, right? And then if you look at the strong clause, she will give him some food, some of her food. It is already a complete sentence. It can stand on its own already. Same with I would like you to have it too. I would like you to have it too is also another sentence or another strong clause with which it can actually stand on its own. Okay. So I am actually was able to over to have the overtime already. Yeah, we are already overtime. It's already 6:01 in your country, while in my country